Hello guys, starting right now one more episode of your favorite Jiujitsu podcast, BJJWC Conversations. And today we have two very special guests. We have a father of three, we have a businessman, we have a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, also a couple times world champion, all these titles of BJJF champion, big friend of mine, also one of my biggest coaches for sports, Viktor Doria.
Well, it's great to be here, great to be with you. The new and upcoming No-Gi World Champion 2021. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Let's do it. And we also have one of the most prominent athletes of his generation, a guy that I've been following since I was a young boy and he was a little kid. I met him at Cicero Costa in 2015. He had a lizard on his hair. I want to ask him why he had that, but he's here today, one of the most dangerous athletes, amazing person, so focused, and also on that young age, always inspired me so much. He and his dad is a beautiful day story of both. Micael Galvão.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. And, as just Andrés said, just something awesome to see that, since I was a little kid, I've seen Andrés competing on Cicero Costa, that we met in 2015, and to see that this day, 2021, we are here and we're both at black belts, just on the highest level, and something that's amazing.
Amazing. Mika, I have a first question for you.
Yep.
Who is Micael Galvão?
Micael Galvão, it's Indiozinho from Manaus. Indiozinho means like the little Indian from Manaus. I think that is trying to conquer the world with a kind heart, with a good mentality, and with a good jiu-jitsu. I think that's Mika.
And Mika, how you guys met? You and Doria, today you guys have this beautiful partnership. It's beautiful to see you guys together. Doria always in your coach, always there for you, with your dad as well. How this friendship started?
If I remember it very well, it started on 2019. Was it right? 2018 Worlds. First time I met with Master Doria was on the Worlds on the pyramid, on the greatest event of the year. And from there we started talking a little bit. Like, my dad always wanted to. At first we met when he had the adaptogen.
Right.
And then after Fighter Choice came in, and then we started our relationship as sponsor and athlete, and then it just evolved on a very unique way.
In 2018 you did not fight Worlds, right?
No, I still was 15 years, so I couldn't fight the competition.
And on the other year, 2019, you got the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Who inspired you to try to get the Grand Slam?
We had to do something crazy to get the attention to Manaus, and that was basically the plan. Like, me and Diogo, we got into the US in 2017 for the first time.
You guys went to Cobrinha, right?
Yeah, we went to Cobrinha Alliance there. And we tried to stay in the US, but then our time was running out. We had to go back to Brazil. A few problems to solve, and we didn't have any attention to us at all. So it was like, okay, we got to do something. And my dad and Diogo, we had a plan, which the plan was like, okay, let's do something that few people in the world have done, which it was on the moment 5 people, and me and Diogo became the 7th. And we just decided to train 1 year to do the Grand Slam the next year, which kind of worked. Otherwise we wouldn't be here today. And yeah, that was the plan, basically. Just try to do something crazy to get attention to Manaus.
This is awesome. On the first Brazilian who made the Grand Slam on the color belts. The first one was Kieran Cornelius in 2013 or 12.
I think it was 13. Yeah.
No, 13 as a brown belt. He lost the world finals, but in 2012 he did it as a purple belt.
Oh yeah, he did it as a purple belt.
When he beat Miao Brothers and the Brazilian Nationals and Worlds and everything. And the first Brazilian to make the Grand Slam was Gustavo Batista in 2015. And I closed out with him on the Worlds and on the Brazilian National on the year. This year he was on fire. This guy, he's still on fire.
Yeah, he's been on fire for a while.
I fought him now in the Grand Slam, on the Pan Ams, and his pressure is something different. His hip is so heavy, but it's beautiful to see that you made it. And after that, you jumped already to the purple belt right after the Worlds, right? But you don't got the chance to compete as a purple belt, right?
Actually, I jumped to the purple belt in November, right after the South American competition on Brazil. My dad he was like, okay, we won everything in blue belt. And he kind of was like, okay, I just want to move up and try to see if we can, make the things a little faster. Because until before, we could just jump straight to the green belt, to the purple belt. Otherwise, if you choose to do the blue belt, you had to do 2 years, then 1 year, and then, we would lose a little time. So we tried to do something a little different, which worked. And yeah, it worked just like that.
And how long you got on the purple belt before you got your brown belt? Because your transition was really, really fast.
Not sure, but it was less than a year. It was like 9 months, 8 months, something like that. On each belt, I didn't spend the whole year. I think it was really quick. It was like 2019, I was blue belt, and 2021, I was already a black belt.
What do you put on your mindset to keep the confidence high, like coming from a blue belt and 2 years ago you was a juvenile blue belt, and today you are already fighting with black belts on the highest level? What was the biggest thing on your mindset to keep your confidence high to fight against these guys?
I think it was all inside of my home, because since I was younger, I was always raised to be a kid that my dad said, okay, keep being yourself, try to be humble, and try to always look up, not to the challenge itself, but look to the guy that's up there protecting you, which was like something that motivates me like every day. I don't know if there's any problem if I talk about my religions here.
No.
Okay, so I believe that if I just give it my all, whatever I cannot achieve by myself, by my human form, I think the guy up there is going to be trying to give it to me. And of course, I think that's how it worked for me. I was confident on myself. I was confident on my skills. But what I couldn't achieve by my own power, I would just let on his hand there.
This is beautiful, Mika.
Mika, you said earlier that Micael Galvão is a kid who is trying to conquer the world being kind.
Yeah.
Is that rooted in your faith too? Does that sentiment come from your relationship with the guy up there?
Yeah, it does. I think that...
and has that made you a better fighter, in your opinion?
I think it did, because, today, on those days, many people, they don't seek for like an idol. They don't seek for something that they just look up at, I like this guy because he's a great fighter or something like that. I think everyone today seeks for an example. Like, if you take a look on the parents today, they try to hide what is bad from their children, and they try to show what's good for them. Or some people, they're just like falling under depression, like they don't have motivation to do something anymore. And I think my job is try to show the good part of the sport, try to show the good face of the humankind, by showing them just kindness, which I think that's Jesus Christ did. He came on earth just like on his human form. He was like just loving everyone, showing what's, I think, Master that understands what I'm saying. I think he could say it better a little more. But it's just like Jesus Christ was not trying to put himself on anyone. He was just trying to show a good face, a good a good example for the people, and the people were just started following him. And I think that's what I want to do. I just want to give something good to the people, a good example, like be kind to them, and they do whatever they want to do. And I think with the example, they're probably going to be following or doing the same thing.
I was reading the other day a Brazilian author, his name escapes, I will remember right now, but he says that we should all strive to have the emotional archetype of Jesus Christ's personality.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really what we should strive in a moment where we see that especially combat sports feeds off and generates a lot of attention of trash talking. I was looking at your matches from this past weekend. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful stellar performance. But what was really beautiful was to see you and the Ruotolo brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking at the interviews and there was no trash talking.
No.
There was a lot of respect, yet you guys went at it and gave us a really interesting fight that all the fans enjoyed. So do you think that that's ever going to change? Do you think that as you grow and become bigger, you will follow some or find an opponent that will drive you into that? How do you protect yourself to it?
I hope it never changes because that's who I am. I think that's not going to be something, I need to be an example. I need to be kind. I need to be good to everyone. No, that's kind of my nature. Like my dad, sometimes he was like, oh, Mika, no, you got to close more your face. Or sometimes he would say, oh, no, Mika, you got to be more bad, a little more like, try to be more aggressive on the fights. But I'm like, no, that's not me. It's just like, I can be more aggressive on the fights, but like before, I have no trash talk and I have nothing to say against my opponents. I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna submit you, I'm gonna beat you. No, I'm just gonna be like, okay, bro, just let's give it our all on the mats and see who's the best.
Well, that's beautiful, brother. Yeah. I'm a fan. And I have one last question, considering that we have two generations here.
Two generations.
Professor,
actually.
Well, yeah, you're right. But Professor Doria is like, you have a lot of knowledge about jiu-jitsu. You were here like from many years ago. How do you compare a journey like Mika's to a journey like yours, or people who got their black belts? I don't know if in a more extended period of time, was it the same? What do you see now that you are helping manage young talent as well? And where do you see all of this going?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing Micael in his career because he is at the age right now that I started jiu-jitsu. So I started at 17 and a half. So he's about to be 18. And I remember that my very first tournament as a white belt was 1 month before I was 18. So it was pretty much exactly what he did last week. So I was starting when he was already like one of the most promising athletes the sport ever had. So I think that between us, it's like it's very different because of that. At the same time, I have more time as a black belt that Mika has alive.
It's true.
So that's what separates us a lot. I started at his age, but I've been a black belt for over 21 years. So it's like we're really different generations. But back in my day, we had some very well-accomplished athletes his age, such as Vitor Ribeiro, Shaolin, and Robson Moura, and Leo Santos. All these kids were just amazing kids at age 18, black belts at age 18, that did amazing things on the mats at world championships, at world tournaments, and national tournaments. They did amazing, just like him. I think that Mika has a more he reaches out to more people just because of the time that we live with social media and internet. Back in the day, in order for you to have something, you would have to go to my friend Paquetá, Master Paquetá, and buy his video tapes that he would record. So I had I remember that my wife, when we got married in 2004, she gave me a gift. What's beautiful, she went to Master Paquetá and she asked him to get all my fights since blue belt and put on a DVD. So I had a DVD with over 200 fights, which was amazing. And I've been watching that. I think I lost it. I don't know where it's at because I moved so many times. I might not have it anymore. It might be with my father. My father used to love watching me because my father would go to the tournaments, and that's another thing that puts us together. My father used to go to all my tournaments.
My father too. So
I know that the three of us here, we're like, so my father.
That's very special, right? You all have parents, a father figure who was extremely present in your development as an athlete.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What role?
100%.
Speak to us about that.
That's for me. It's super important because my father is a sportsman himself. He used to be a marathonist. He used to run, and he always preached at home that me and my brothers, I'm the oldest of three, so me and my brothers will have to be very focused on sports, no matter what. So I started swimming, then I did rowing, then I went to water polo. And in water polo, I did really well. I went to the national team. My brother still plays water polo. And my sister now, she runs marathons. It's crazy because it was all inside of us that our father, he put that inside of us. And he was the biggest incentive that we had at home, led by example. He would wake up at 5 a.m., would go run, and he's always fit, always healthy. And I said, man, my father's doing something right. Let me do the same thing. So back in the day when I was doing water polo, I wanted to be the best that I could. And then when I went to jiu-jitsu, I wanted to be the best that I could too. And so my father always incentivized me by going to the tournaments, and he was a good photographer. So he would take a lot of pictures of me fighting, and one of these pictures was one of the most important ones when I won worlds in brown belt.
You won double gold, right?
No, brown belt. No. I lost the finals on absolute to Claudio Moreno.
Claudio Moreno.
But I won my weight class, and I beat Alexandre Zulu. And I have a very nice picture of me giving him an armbar, and that became a T-shirt from Company. Company used to be a very big brand in Brazil that used to sponsor a lot of athletes. And that picture, when I showed that picture to my sponsors, they said, man, we need to make a T-shirt. And it sold really well because it was beautiful.
That's so cool.
And you also, when you was a brown belt, you had a fight with Roleta, who was the current double gold world champion.
Yeah, that one was kind of crazy because I compare, like I was 6 months into my brown belt back in 1997. And Roleta was the best black belt there was. It's pretty much like, say, someone that just got their brown belt fought Buchecha and beat him. That was pretty much what I lived in 1997.
I saw that video.
I saw the picture too.
What a vibe, right?
It was crazy. I was 21, and I was like 4 years into jiu-jitsu, and I was beating the best guy ever. And I said, man, did it just happen? I was like pinching myself. I said, did it just happen? It was crazy, but it was amazing. I think that our journeys, the three of us here, we have different but very similar journeys within jiu-jitsu. Each one at an age, but we all had our parents, our fathers as the biggest incentivizers. And
what would be the best advice? This is a question to each one of you guys. I know what the best advice my dad gave me. There's a time for everything in this world. A time to cry, and this is biblical also, right? A time to go to war, a time to be at peace, time to love. It's a time for everything. That was probably the best advice my father ever gave me. What's the best advice you've gotten from your parents?
So okay. You want to
start? You're the younger.
Oh, okay. I don't know. My dad always gives me advices, and I think all of them are available for me. But I think
drop the phone.
That's the one that he says every day. Well, like, I think one of the best ones is try to always seek for God. Yeah, I think put God first on everything you do, and you will be blessed. I think that's the one I available the most.
Yeah, my dad also gave me advice like that, like the whole life. My dad always made me putting God first, and same thing, same mindset. Yeah. And another thing that my dad always used to tell me, and he used to put on my walls and everything that on my house, everything my dad used to get like the paint the wall with that. It's like, what you accept, you never change. Just the indignations bring the change, right? So like, I really believe on that, and this made me like, on the last year I was not my best version, and when I put on my mind this, like, just the indignation when you like, man, I don't wanna this anymore. I wanna change. I wanna change my whole life. When you have this feeling is when you really make happen, and I think this is the biggest advice that I got from my dad. Like, besides God and all that, but like, just the indignation brings a change, you know. And this is true, because when I got like mad with myself, like I'm not where I should be, because I know who I am, I know where I came from, I know what I passed through to be here, and I'm not doing enough like I should. You know, and Mika and Melkin inspired me a lot, you know, like when I see this guy training here and the way that he was training, like really similar to the way that I used to train in Brazil. And I'm like, man, I'm not being myself. I need to be myself. So after they came here, Doria knows, Doria is here following everything. He saw me when I came here. He saw me during my process. He saw me getting stuck on the process. And he saw me after Mika and Melky. I got very close to Melky too and to Mika. And like I really put this on my mind. This indignation have to make me change. And now everything's happening, you know, like shoot.
We could see a pen. We could see a pen.
Like this Panams, I was so focused. I did the warm-ups, then you taught me. Remember, in Nogi Panams, you taught me how to warm up and everything. So I've been doing everything right, like you guys taught me, you know. So it's amazing I love to have you guys here. And your dad is like, changing my life, like changing my way of thinking, you know, because I saw like, man, it's like this that I have to train to be a champion. So like, I have the talent. I know I can do it. If I train like that, like then, like stop eat sugar, stop eat shit.
What does it look like? What does the routine of to the best athletes out there right now look like? What to young kids who are coming up right now? What do they need to do?
I think the basic, right? I think everyone wants to be looking for something crazy. Like, oh, the champions, they probably must be doing something crazy. Like, they must be training 5 times a day, no sleeping, like just 4 hours of sleeping just so can train more, eating super healthy, just many supplements, taking something different than us. No, it's just like, I think you gotta first do the basic. I think Mustard I always say, supplement's not gonna work if you're not doing the basics.
It's true.
If you're just like trying to train, and you eat shit, and you don't sleep enough, you don't rest enough, and you try to take supplements, it's just not gonna work. You gotta work on your basics. Like, you gotta train hard, then you gotta rest. After you gotta rest, you gotta eat. Then you just keep repeating the process. And if you feel your body is still not like recovering very well, you can start taking supplements. And from there, you can seek for something else. But it's just like, I think the basics for me is the most important thing.
I think it's very important you have a routine too, like
routine.
Maybe on the paper or on your computer and everything. Before, they used to have a routine. So when you don't have a routine, you miss trainings when you don't should be missing training. But when you have a routine, like Monday to Saturday, this is everything that I'm gonna do. Sunday I'm gonna rest. This is everything that I'm gonna do, and I cannot miss. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I have to be there and do the things that I have to be.
Consistency.
I have to do. Consistency is the key. I learned this with Master Doria, and this is the most true thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people like, for instance, if a swimmer wants to be the best swimmer he can be, what does he have to do? Swim. A runner. Run.
Yeah.
A fighter.
Fight.
That's it. I see a lot of fighters doing swimming, running, CrossFit, everything, but not training as much on the mats. That I don't understand. It will never get in my head. I see a lot of people posting about their cardio, their strength and conditioning, but I don't see them as, are you really spending time on the mats? Are you really drilling? Are you really training? How many rows are you doing? Like, are you rolling like 10 of 10 anytime in your life? You have to.
And also watching Jiu-Jitsu too is very important.
Watch Jiu-Jitsu. Try to learn from what you watch. Talk to people that know more than you, because there's always someone that knows more than you. Mm-hmm. So go talk to them. Be humble enough to talk to them and ask them, hey, what do you think? What is your take? I'm still competing, but I have 28 years of competition behind me. So I have a lot of experience, and I know what I say, when to say, to whom I'm saying, because it's not that I'm wiser. I'm just older. I just been there too long. So I know exactly what goes on your guys' heads, what happens on the mats, the frustration sometimes.
Experience.
It all comes with experience. That's too much time.
Everybody here at Fight Sports, when they get to pick who they want in their corner, it's always Viktor Doria and Maggie. You know, both of them. Maggie because she projects the voice really well, and Doria because he's in your mind. He's there with you.
It's just something that I've been doing that for too long. It doesn't make me better than anyone, just more experienced. And my life was built on the mats. Like 2/3 of my life were on the mats.
And I had a beautiful moment on this Panams that I was watching. I already watched my fight so many times, and had a beautiful moment on the fight with Murilo when we was tying the belt, and you start telling me, "Você vai ser campeão. Like you're gonna be the champ. You're gonna be the champ." And I start spoke with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the champ. I think.
And I saw in your eyes that you had that, you believed in that.
Yeah.
When I saw it in your eyes that you were saying, "No, yeah, I'm gonna be the champion. I know I'm gonna be." I said, "Done."
Yeah, it was a
It's
beautiful.
done. It's there. I told Cyborg when we went to the finals, because when I was watching your fight against Hiba, I said, no, he's gonna find a way to score. I'm not even concerned. And that's when you asked them, and I didn't have the chance to answer. Let me answer that right now, because my father taught me something really important. My father was never a religious guy, so I don't have any biblical quotes from my dad. But what he did was, he said, my son, I saw that the sport that you chose, which is jiu-jitsu, is a sport that, because I would complain because I was never a very talented guy on the mats. I took more time to learn the techniques than the other guys. So I had to do more, and still I wasn't that good on the technique. So my father said, I noticed, because he understands a lot in sports and the mentality. So he told me, I noticed that it's not the best that wins. It's the one that wants more.
It's the one who wants more.
So if you want it more, if you want it more than the other guy, no matter how good he is, how strong he is, how tall he is, how many times he was a world champion, you will beat him, because if you want it more. And that's one thing that I take for the rest of my life.
That is how you won that day.
No, that's how I won. I get goosebumps. That's how I won pretty much everything in my life. Everything in my life. That's why I got to marry the love of my life. That's why I drive the car that I drive. That's why I do what I do. That's why I win the way I win. Sometimes I'm on the mats here and I'm training, and I don't feel like I'm training well, but that doesn't bother me, because I know that when I need it, I will want it more than the other guy. And if I want it more, it doesn't matter if he can do inverted birimbolos or flying omoplatas. I don't care. I'm going to beat him with one advantage, with 2 points, or with submission. I'm just going to win. And that's the projection that my father put it on me. If you want it more than the other guy, you will win.
That's the mindset.
And you think like the power of the will like that is with the preparation. The preparation makes you
100%
more hungry.
I can't tell you that. I can stay at home watching TV and
say that you want it,
you are not going to want more than the other guy that trained more than you.
Yeah.
So it comes with preparation. It comes with dedication.
No, and wanting it is really, you have to back it up.
Yeah.
If you say you want it more, then you're gonna train more. You're gonna sleep better. You're gonna eat better. You're gonna do all those things.
Wanting more doesn't come on the day of the competition. It comes on the process.
Yes.
You acquire it by consistently being on the mats and training and sweating and bleeding. That's how you say, man, I went through so much. I want more than the other guy.
Exactly.
That's
This
it.
is exactly the mindset.
I have another question, right? Like, you guys are doing something really interesting. Mika, you're having amazing performances. You fought. I think I've seen you fight more than anybody at this point. And in this year, like, I've seen you in a lot of tournaments, a lot of competitions. I know you guys, well, you started training here at Fight Sports when you're here. Talk to us a little bit of how you feel joining the team, meeting everybody here, and what are your plans? You know, what are you guys trying to build? Where is Micael Galvão going with everything you're doing with Professor Doria, your father, and your team?
Getting here into the US and being part of the team Fight Sports was something very meaningful for us, because then we started having a really good team here in the US, really someone who could like help us, a team that not only was, of course, a supportive team, but also I felt like a family here. So I felt really good. As I said on the first time, I already feel like home here. And the projects that we have for the future are something that has no limits, you know, something that we just say, I just want this competition here and I think I'm going to be okay. That's something like you're going to lose your focus, or you're going to lose kind of your motivation if you just stop being like trying to challenge yourself. So I think we have some plans for now, but I don't have like a vision of when I'm gonna stop or what's just the main goal for now. I just have, so much to accomplish. I'm still like just starting on my road here. I'm still on the start of my career as a black belt. I think I'm not even counting the days as my black belt because Master Doria said it's not started. It's just 1st January. So I still have lots of time here on my black belt to compete, to train, to develop myself. And yeah, I just can't wait for the next years and see how well I'm going to be competing.
And Mika, this year you start fight a lot on no-gi. And how was the transition from the gi to the no-gi? I know you've been training no-gi for a long time, but it's different. The almost different sports like the no-gi here in US because have heel hooks around. Then it's a thing then we don't used to train too much in Brazil. Also, they work a lot with wrestling and different rule sets. And another question that I have is you think then the no-gi gonna be the future of the jiu-jitsu?
I kind of felt a little different when I changed it to no-gi. Of course, it's kind of different here in US. They developed the no-gi on a level that they can call it a different sport. And I kind of felt secure and kind of felt good with this changing because, I've been doing luta livre in Manaus since I'm like a black belt from the Master Tutorial. But I think the moment I came here to the US, I saw something new. And of course, if some people, they say, oh no, no-gi is going to take over gi. I don't think that's going to happen. Like never is going to happen because gi and no-gi are somehow different. No-gi, I think it's going to be more to the performance, like the competition because, if you call someone 70 years old to practice no-gi, you're gonna see it. It's kind of more brute, more harsh. So probably the person's gonna prefer doing the gi style. It's something that I think the gi still has. It's very traditional.
Yes.
It's something that I think every single guy that is like the old school style likes. And yeah, I don't think the no-gi is going to take over, but it's going to get a lot of space. You see the no-gi today is raising at such high speed. Just like the last competition I did was 30K for like five divisions.
And also payments for second place and third place too,
exactly.
right?
For the second place and for...
That has been one of the best tournaments right now, right?
Yeah, it was
highest
a very
paid,
good tournament.
highest.
$262,500 prize.
Shout out to who's number one.
Flow
We're
grappling.
putting such a cool. The production was also amazing.
Beautiful.
I really liked it. Everything was really good.
Yeah,
And
this
the
time
show.
was even bigger than the previous events. The first, I think the first event was a small event, like combined with Fight to Win, and then the next one was bigger. The next one was bigger. The next one was bigger. And this last one here was on Palmas Event Center. I think is that the name? And it was just like amazing, like 3 mats just to warm up, the whole match inside there with the public watching. So it was a very good vibe.
Oh, Mika, how you been dealing with your trainings and with your routine with all these travelings that you've been having for seminars, for competition, and like you got 15 days in Mexico as well. How you been dealing with that and keeping training hard?
To be telling the truth, I have been dealing with the training very well. As I said, I just spent 15 days in Mexico where I couldn't afford just training. I had to work a little more. I had to do seminars, travelings. I had to, try to train there as well as I could. Mexico is still a city growing in jiu-jitsu, so you don't find as much ins as you do here in U.S., and I was basically just doing preparation, just like physical training, more weightlifting training. Right. And of course, it's not an excuse. I'm not saying it often like this. I did my best in Mexico there. And when it comes about the traveling, the seminars and this stuff, I think it's the lifestyle I choose, of course, is the one I chose for my life. And, it's something you gotta be kind of como é que fala? Caixa grossa, mestrão.
Badass. Really badass.
You gotta handle it in a very good way, because some people just don't have the mind to train, do the seminar, do like many competitions that just like the last time we did like many rule sets, many competitions on like each week we did one. So it's just something like I've been doing on a very good way, but it's been kind of hard.
Yeah, but it's cool because now you're living the life that you always dreamed to have, right?
Yeah.
You're living the life then when you was younger, working hard. Like you're still very young, but when you was younger, even younger than now, you was working hard to one day get to this point, right?
Exactly.
And what's your next goals? You cannot fight towards this year. You're still too young for that.
Yeah, IBJJF still didn't let me compete on the trials. I cannot compete, not even an open. I can't do nothing. I'm still like until 1st January. I'm still like a brown belt, so I'm just gonna be starting competing next year. I was like, yeah, I accept it. Kind of like just like Master Doria say, I don't. How can I say? I don't. Como é que fala? Eu não tô contigo. Tipo, eu não. Não é aceitar. Como é que fala? Se eu for no Uber lá, Marcelo. No Uber. Tipo assim, tem que usar máscara, tem que sentar aqui atrás. Não concordo.
I don't agree with you.
I don't agree with you.
But I understand and I abide by the rule, yeah.
Exactly.
And you pretend to fight the
okay.
ADCC trials next year?
Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You pretend to fight the ADCC trials next year?
I do.
Brazil?
We're going to be fighting probably in February. We're just waiting for this moment. And yeah, I'm training hard on my no-gi to at least try to get the trials and try to go to the main event.
Gonna be amazing.
We want to, since you were in Mexico, we want to invite you guys because we're going to have our first BJJ World Champion retreat in beautiful Tulum, Mexico.
Ooh, I'm in.
Right?
I'm in.
Shout out to our friends at Posada Margarita and Jiujitsu Tulum who always host us there to train. If you've ever been there, that you have to visit that place. Did you go to Tulum right now or no?
No, I was just in Mexico City. I went to San Cristobal, Monterrey, and Chiapas.
Okay, so you guys are formally invited. We're going to do something really, really cool for the community there and for the jiu-jitsu community as a whole, so we can go and spend some really cool time there. Enjoying the jiu-jitsu lifestyle as well,
Cool.
Yeah,
sharing the dream.
That sounds good.
And Micael, let me ask you, how was your childhood besides jiu-jitsu? How was the childhood in Manaus? What you used to do there on your free time? Because you also had I'm sure you had fun times as a young kid.
I think I was planning to use my childhood on 21. With 21 years, I would spend my childhood. That's like something I don't see myself outside of this world. It was just like something I was raised on. So it was like my fun times were on the mat. Of course I had my time as a kid, like playing video games, doing like stuff, like eating bad food, going around, but like I never saw myself without friends that came from jiu-jitsu. Like going around with friends of school. I never went around with them. I was just like, with my friends from jiu-jitsu, of course. Hey, do you want to do something? Yeah, let's go. Let's train.
And Diogo is your friend since this time?
Yeah, I met Diogo first time actually in judo. I met him in judo. We were from different academies. And then we went to a competition, which was the Brazilian Nationals, the Judo Brazilian Nationals. For some people that doesn't know, I'm a green belt in judo. But we went to the Brazilian Nationals, and after Brazilian Nationals, the people from the Diogo's gym were kind of like playing with him, and he was like, you want to know what? I'm going to Mika's gym. And then from there, he's still with us. So it's kind of like...
He was here. He was talking about you guys and the relationship that you guys... that he had with you guys, and with your father.
He lived with me, so he's basically for me. I consider him as a brother, So it's not a blood, of course, blood relationship, but it's something that I really appreciate him. Like he had few opportunities to leave us. He had opportunities to be away from us, but he chose to be by our side. Like all the time that he could people offered him hey, do you want to come to my side? Do you want to come to my gym? I can give you food, money. And they're going, nah, I'm staying with Master Malky. So I kind of really respect him as a person.
It's family that you chose. Family that you choose has bigger bonds and stronger bonds than the family that you end up with.
And you, when you used to compete, you used to have a brother like that who was always on your side, competing, training with you. Not brother, blood brother, but someone. Then you had a big friend who was always like, "Oh, let's do that. Let's train today. Let's do something."
Not really, because back in my day, training wasn't as serious or as professional as it is today. So being a world champion back in my day didn't mean, okay, this guy only trains. He's a professional. No. I was studying, I was working, I was enjoying life, I was doing my thing, I was training, I was working out, and I was winning. And everybody was pretty much the same way. Then I think that the break was when Worlds moved into the US in 2007. I would say that it became more, okay, now we're spending money to go to the US and stay there and train there, and so let's take it more serious. And so that's when I would say it changed a lot. But back in my day, in the 90s, you would just live a normal life, and people surf, people skateboard, people do this. We do jiu-jitsu, and we would go to competition and just have fun. And
even the black belts.
Even the black belts. I mean, the black belts train even less.
And when you came to live,
the blue belts were the crazy ones. Yeah.
And when you came to live in US, a long time ago?
No, 8 years ago. I came here in end of 2013, and I established in early 2014.
And what made you take this decision?
Business. I opened up a sports supplement brand called Adaptogen Science back in the day with 2 partners, and we did what we could until 2018. We found out that because of the dollar currency exchange wasn't favorable. So they went back to Brazil, and I sold my shares, and I started Fighter's Choice in 2019.
And when you had the idea to start the management with athletes, and who was your first athlete? Okay,
so good questions. My first idea was, what would I like? I'm seeing all these kids and all these fighters. 'Cause for me, everyone is a kid, right? I'm that old, so I see all these guys fighting, and I like, oh my God. If I was in their place, what would I like to have as a support on the business side, on the business end of jiu-jitsu? And that was a very easy answer for me, because I knew exactly what these kids needed back in the day, like a year ago. And I started talking to Cyborg in late 2019, right after Worlds No Gi. I started talking to him. Hey,
you met him here?
No, that's another story. I can go back to it.
Keep going.
But so when I saw everything that happened in 2019 and all the fights and all the prize monies and everything, I said, man, these guys need help. Like, they need accounting, they need immigration help with a lot of stuff that they need, like counselors, lawyers. And I can provide it to them. Thank God my business has been very successful, and I could be able to invest in it to provide for athletes. And so Cyborg was pretty much my first client.
Nice.
Let's say my first client. And I started, what do I do to help the fighter? I negotiate their purses. I see everything that they need in order to be in that tournament or in that fight, in that promotion. Fight to which promotion, see if we can get a contract with 3, 4, multiple fights for them. Also, I seek for seminars and negotiate the prices and the conditions, and also sponsorship. So all my athletes, today I have under contract, I have 18 athletes. And all these athletes, they now have a better sponsor than they had before. Their purses are better. They're flying my athletes.
With Master Doria, I got my first debit card.
And yesterday, tell them what you did the first time yesterday.
Yeah, I got my first class fight.
First flight?
He flew first class last night.
Hey, but I also saw that you visited your first vegan restaurant. So cheers to that.
It's the way for me, guys.
I ate turkey that day. So all that,
win-win.
like I said, yeah, it's a win-win. A structure that fighters need, because you guys are professional fighters. You, Andrés, Mika, and all these guys that we have here at Fight Sports and all over the place. you guys are athletes, and you have to train, and you have to eat, and you have to rest and repeat.
Exactly.
That's it. So the business part of it, I'll take care of it. I'll take care because I know exactly what you guys need. And I go back and forth with them. I go back and forth with all my athletes, with Mika's father, with Melky, and ask them, hey, do you think this works? And I work with that. Like, for instance, now Melky just asked me, can we get some seminars in Brazil when I'm in Sao Paulo in November? And I already arranged 2 seminars for them. You know, and then I make the contracts. I have my lawyer in the U.S. and the lawyer in Brazil. If the business is in Brazil, I have the lawyer there. They write the contract. They send it through DocuSign. They sign, and everything is set. And they only have to, hey, Mika, you're jumping on the plane tomorrow at this time, and here's the ticket. Here's the hotel.
Like you manage professional talent. We've talked about this a lot with you, right?
Yeah.
And like we've seen how in the past years you've managed to build the fight sports management and Fighter's Choice Management. Apologies, and it's been really cool to see professionalism come to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
right?
in the first moment, some promotions were like, "Why do I have to talk to Viktor instead of talking to Mika or to Cyborg or to Gutenberg or to Patrick?" So they were like, "Oh, I always talk to the fighters," but then they saw that talking to me, I can arrange 5 fights for him. So you talk to one person.
So it's good for the industry.
And I negotiate 5 fights for them,
right.
And they give me 1 phone call, and I get everything set up for them. And they say, "Okay, that's made my life
easier. Good for the promotion,
easier.
good for the athletes. Good.
It's less calls, it's less emails, less back and forth with less people."
No, and at the end of the day, right? We all know that jiu-jitsu athletes have always complained that they weren't treated as professional athletes. I mean, I've seen world champions, I've heard at least, that world champions used to fly and stay at the hotel, stay at the airport, sleep at the airport, and then just fly back after fighting. And that should not be like that, right?
No.
The jiu-jitsu is a super cool sport. It's growing a lot, and it should be treated with the respect and professionalism on that end. So kudos to what you guys are doing. It's really cool to see.
It's really important that me as a manager with Fighter's Choice Management, what I do is I try to bring, like I try to not convince, but talk my athletes into professionalism just the same way as I do with the promotions and with the brands that would sponsor them. So I do everything. I go around. It's a circuit. I talk to the athletes. I talk to the promotion. I talk to the sponsors, to the brands. I talk to the media, and I say, if every one of you be as professional as you should, everything is going to be perfect. So the athlete needs to be on time, on weight. They have to have a bank account so that the promotion can pay them accordingly. They have to take care of their own social media so that the media out there can say, okay, this is what's happening with Mika, this is what's happening with Andrés. So they know what's happening, and everything gets more professional, and then we evolve from there. Since I'm the first one doing this, that I notice, it's been hard. Like I see in a couple of years there's going to be a lot of fighting management companies probably, but I'm the pioneer, and the pioneer is like you have to like go on the trenches. It's tough. Yeah,
for sure.
It's a raw thing, but I'm enjoying it because what I do to them is exactly what I would love someone to have done to me back in my day, and I didn't have.
And in jiu-jitsu is just a baby, Doria. What do you think the future brings for the sport?
Well, we're living the future right now. Right, we're living the future. We see a tournament that just paid $262,000 in prizes, but 2 years ago we had an event in South Korea that paid $250,000 in prizes too. So this is becoming like, I'm not going to say that every tournament is going to pay that amount of money,
but there's a precedent now.
There's a precedent, and so we're gonna see more and more because jiu-jitsu is a sport that like anyone can practice. It's not like, oh, I have to be gifted.
No.
In certain, like basketball. If you're not tall, you're not playing. Unless you're Muggsy Bogues. But other than that, you can't, So you have to understand that jiu-jitsu is the easiest way, I would say, not easiest, but it is the easiest way for an average Joe to become a special Joe.
And how important
I like that. I like that.
You both of you guys have a YouTube channels. How important is the social media for the development
Development, yeah.
of
You
your
got it.
of your jiu-jitsu career?
I think Master Doria can answer first.
No, I honestly, what I do in my YouTube channel is just help the community to get more information from a raw source that won't.
Why like the media in Brazil don't post about this big tournament? What do you think? You was talking about that on your last video.
Yeah,
I was watching. I always watch your videos. I love it. And why?
I honestly don't know. I think that most of them are lazy or they're not paying too much attention. And there's another thing that's really important. We were talking about, oh, no, gi is the future of jiu-jitsu. I want to say that I agree with Mika that gi is never going to die, but we're seeing here what's happening in the U.S. with like a lot of no-gi tournaments and no-gi professionals making a lot of money and all that stuff. Why? Because we're in the U.S. and there are a lot of North Americans winning in no-gi.
Yeah, it's true.
And why don't we have the Brazilian media paying too much attention? Because there's fewer Brazilians winning in no gi. So they pay a lot of attention in the gi because that's where we reign.
Yeah.
So there's only Brazilians winning in the gi. If you're going to see, there's a trend. And I said that in 2016. I told them, hey, the more Americans win in the gi, the better for the sport, the more investment we're going to have. Mm-hmm. Because right now, all we see is promotions putting on no-gi shows. We don't see a lot of gi shows right now.
No.
Because there's no Americans winning. Mm-hmm. So if we have more Americans winning, so when they say, oh, Brazil versus the United States, no, that's stupid. That's totally stupid. I want more North Americans coming to the gyms, learning and getting better and winning and beating us. It's going to be good for everyone. And then we have to evolve our jiu-jitsu and beat them back. Yeah. And keep doing that, and we win, and they win, and we have like my dream is like we have
better sport.
We have 10 weight classes at Worlds, right? Adult black belt, 10 weight classes, 5 Brazilians or in 5 Americas is not ideal. Like if we have 2 guys from the Netherlands, 1 guy from Japan, the other guy from the United States, would be ideal, 2 guys from Brazil, and we have the whole world like judo is, like the Olympics. You don't have a supremacy. Supremacy is not great for anyone. Right. So we want this to change.
This is a sport that brings people together.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I particularly don't like when some people push the narrative that it's got to be Brazilians against Americans. Yeah. And then a lot of talking about the media also, like, we know that we live in a time where the media is focusing mostly on negative stuff, right? I remember seeing the Rutolo brothers in ADCC. And one of them competed, right?
Ty.
But do you remember that the brother was his coach?
Yeah.
I was like, what are these? They looked 12 years old at that time. They looked,
and he lost a lot of weight.
And they looked so young, and they were by themselves. It was just them two. He would warm him up. He would coach him before he went and fought Micael, or somebody like that. So it was impressive to see somebody so young display such a good character, poise, and compete in the way they did. And I was a little bit taken back and saddened that was not one of the biggest stories that was covered from that tournament.
Right.
Because I was like, this is going to be all over the place. This is spectacular to see a kid that young performing like that. We see it with you now. So I would really like to encourage the media and to see the media. And that's kind of what we would try to do here in BJJ World Champion Conversations, right? To try to show, like you said, Mika, the better side of our sport, the positive side of our sport, right? Because we choose what we feed, right? And I believe that's important that we all represent the sport in that way.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And Mika, I learned how to put tape on my fingers watching your channel. And I used to watch a lot too you trainings, and it was crazy the way you guys used to do wake up 5 a.m. and do run on the stairs, and after go to the pool and swim. And you guys still doing all that?
No, they're training jiu-jitsu.
No, they train
we used to do more of that, but the people couldn't keep up, so we kind of decided to slow down a little bit more. My dad saw that doing that much stuff, the people were getting tired. So the only 2 that could actually keep up was me and Diogo. So he was like, okay, let's slow down a little more and let's them wrestle a little more. But actually, The swimming part was mostly because of me, because I have a problem with my breathing. I have like a sinus here that makes me hard to breathe. So what I used it to do was swimming to help me like clear up my lungs a little more. And the stairs were something that we actually did since I was like since I was like 8 years old, like something that we did on the project. So we kind of use it to do it to just get more like a little more cardio, a little more explosion, something different from jiu-jitsu. But yeah, we don't do it right now, but we're planning to come back with some of those stuff. Not like the crazy way we did, like all the time, doing many times, like something more like relax it. But yeah, we still do it sometimes.
Nice. And Amika, you've been fighting a lot the AGP, that's the tournament from the Abu Dhabi Federation, and they are trying to I think do like Doria said, but people from another countries, and now we also have a trials. All the Brazilians who goes there first fight against themselves to see who is the best Brazilian to go to the trials. And what do you think about this federation, the way they are dealing with the tournaments and with the sport?
The athletes cannot live only with medals. That's the truth. We're not here only to get medals and go home and have nothing to eat, or even like not have a way to go home. That's what happened. I know some histories like about Jacare. He was like after the Worlds, he won Worlds, got a broken arm. He was just there, the champion, the guy of the night. But like he couldn't even afford a bus to go home. So I think no one wants to pass by this. So they're basically seeking for money, and which is AGP doing what AGP doing. They're giving money for the athletes. I think brown belt and black belts are getting money on each division, and I think that's a very good start. Because we need more motivation for athletes to keep fighting, to keep competing, to keep trying to evolve. And if you don't do it, probably there's not gonna be any athletes competing anymore if there's not something to motivate them. We gotta, of course, talk about passion, talk about something that motivates you just because you love it. Of course, I love jiu-jitsu, but I cannot just live with love. That's something truth. That's the truth. Like, I need to talk about love and business. That's the thing. I think a few weeks ago, I saw a documentary that was talking about two things. Okay, we gotta have business, but not only business. We gotta have love, but not only love. We gotta have business and love. I love jiu-jitsu, but I also love money. So I want both to come close to me.
For sure. And what do you think about the rule set, the way they deal with, they also have a VAR, they stop the fights in the middle of the fight, just 5 minutes, you cannot grab in the back of the pants right here. What do you think about the whole rule set?
They're trying to make something more professional, grabbing on the butt there sometimes where situations where the butt was exposed, and that's not something that you want to show on TV or videos. So they're trying to avoid this. I see like the girls now are wearing a full suite, like covering everything, because sometimes the boob will be like kind of a little more exposed. And they're trying to cover this part about like the rule set. And as you see, it's 5 minutes now, which makes the fight more exciting. The athletes need to go looking for the points a little faster, or they're going to lose the fight. And there's no advantage. Like the advantage counts, but counts as a point. So I think it makes the fight much easier for someone that doesn't understand as much about jiu-jitsu. Like the person is outside, he stands there and looks, okay, it's 5-2. Oh, I understand. But like sometimes when you talk to someone, oh, no, we got to explain to them what means advantage. The guys are going to be like, wait, but no, he almost got an attack and he got a point for it. Okay, how does it work? It's kind of hard to explain even for someone that practices jiu-jitsu.
A good case, a good situation to illustrate that he just said is, for instance, the fight between Keenan and Meregali at Worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
So Keenan was 2-0, but he got smashed. Meregali scored 14 advantages on him.
Yes.
So it would be 14-2.
Yep.
He would have won like big time.
And you guys like the most the AGP rule set than the BJF?
I like it better. I would say that I like it better because I don't like advantages. and I hate 10 minutes. But that's me. I get too tired.
I think they could do the same rule set, maybe a little more time for the black belts, maybe 6-7 minutes. I think sometimes 5 minutes is too fast.
Yeah, it's too fast.
But yeah, the rule set's going for it's going on a very good way. You can tell that the sport should be just like that. You see wrestling. Wrestling is not that big amount of time, like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you know, some people, they just try to seek for the win, which is not wrong, of course. Everybody wants to win. But sometimes the sport just gets too much like, oh, let's just sit here our butts, get the lapel 50-50, lasso, and then, okay, it's over.
That's it.
Not going to move from here. I'm just going to sweep and win. That's something okay. It's a strategy. I totally understand someone that does that, but I kind of don't agree with it. Just like, okay, I respect, but I don't agree.
Right.
Just like, if I could choose something to watch, of course, I would prefer no gi. That's the difference I think about gi and no gi. They think the fights are kind of more exciting, but I think the AGP rule set is preventing that from happening. And I think maybe if we had this little change, it could make a little increase on the speed of the fight, on the happiness of the public too.
Nice. Mika, you're going to Brazil tomorrow.
Yep.
You're traveling tomorrow. And what's your next goals? Where are you going to compete? What are you planning to do for this end of the year and beginning of the 2022?
You know, the first thing I want to do is just get home, see my dogs, my mom, kiss everyone from there, hug my family, see my Manaus teammates there, have a very nice training. You know, I kind of like to just focus on the work. And I'm just gonna go back home, try to evolve, look for the mistakes I committed here on the previous competitions, see what I can improve into. And maybe my next competition is going to be on World Pro. Actually, I'm going to have a competition in Manaus,
Right.
which is like, it's going to be my first ski competition.
How often they do tournaments there? They make tournaments there?
There's actually many tournaments in Manaus. I just don't like to compete that much because otherwise I'm just going to be like every week competing.
For sure.
So I try to rest a little bit, then compete again, rest a little bit. It's very good to fight in Manaus. No one knows what's about to come from there. Like, there's many crazy guys that they are just stuck in a cave, and on the day of the competition they just appear out of nowhere, ready to make so much strength that your arms are just
I remember in 2016 I fought there as a purple belt on the Manaus Open, and I had like 8 fights and 8 crazy fights.
You don't even know where the guy came from.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
hey, what's your name? Oh, Denilson Silva Jr. You don't know the guy. You don't know him, but he's just like, let's go.
So tough.
Like,
That used to happen since my day. Like I remember at Brazilian Nationals in 1995, I went to see the brackets, and there used to be the brackets were all written in paper and stick to the wall. So we would just go there. I was a blue belt back then, so I was there, and then the black belts would come. No, get out, and they would see their names. Okay, and then the brown belts, get out. So it would be the last one to be able to see. So when I went to my bracket, I saw like a 65-man bracket on blue belt, heavyweight. I looked at it and I said, okay, I'm fighting this guy. Who is this guy? Anyone knows this guy? Oh yeah, this guy is, I think he's from Manaus. Oh my God, here they come. So the guys from Manaus, we already know it's gonna be a war.
In CBJJE, there's the second federation that we have in Brazil. Also, like, always used to come a lot of guys from Manaus, and always the most tough guys.
Yeah.
Always the most tough guys.
yeah,
It's crazy.
It's just crazy because there's many material there, human material, but there's no opportunity. So that's why everyone starts working, or they just start doing something else. Right. It's like, yeah.
Guys, amazing conversation. You guys have want to thank someone, sponsors, or friends, family?
Any words? Also, right now, a lot of eyes are on you guys, right?
For sure.
What you guys are doing, and Mika, especially on you. What would you say to all these people?
You know, I think, as I said on the start, be kind, have faith, be patient, because if you're working hard on the right path, sorry,
Don't worry.
That's okay.
everything is just gonna work well. You just need to be doing the right thing. You know, that's one. Oh, that's another one that my dad always tell me. do the right thing, work hard, and have faith. Because if you're doing those things, it's impossible to not work out. It's impossible.
Well, brother, we look forward to seeing you conquer the world with kindness. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for being with us, Professor Doria. Thank you,
Thank you,
Andrea,
Andrés.
Porfirio.
Macedora, have something to say?
Yeah, no, I wanna use Mika here and Andrea as well to thank you guys for the trust in my work as a
Always.
manager, and the same way that you guys are here. So I'm using you as I'm thanking all my fighters through you. I'm glad that you guys trust me to manage your guys' career, and I promise I'll always do my best as I was doing for me, because that's how it was born.
I have no doubt about that.
I think not many people know, but we are the ones that should be thanking Mr. Doria for the work that he does. It's pretty hard, and I know how easy our lives are because of it. It's just like, thanks, Andrea, for the conversation.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
BJ Chat, and thanks, Mr. Doria.
Well,
Thanks,
we will do another podcast in Tulum. Okay,
Amazing.
Do it.
At
Waiting for
Posada
this one.
Margarita. Okay,
All right, perfect. With the
Guys,
juice,
thank you.
with the squeezed juices
with the
right there.
squeezed juice. Yeah.
Just give the
pina
date.
colada.
Yeah. No, they sell some juices that are delicious.
Oh
the
my
most
God.
delicious
Perfect.
melon juice, watermelon juice, like delicious, man. If you're there, you have to go train jiu-jitsu, jump into the water, eat at Posada Margarita. It's really, really nice. Shout out to them, and we'll see you guys for the next one there.
Hopefully.
Let's do it. Wuss.
Os-